Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Doc podcast featuring Dr. London Smith, the only podcast legally obligated to respond to every TikTok comment we get. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Doc podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as cephalosporins and writer's strike, lefter's strike. So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Dr. London, I am so excited to talk about yet another new project that we have for our upcoming streaming service.
I'm so excited. Yes.
What's the streaming service now called?
I think it's called Go Daddy Wait No Don't Go.
Yeah. And it's also a QR code. Grab your pens, listeners. If you do a squiggly, so you do like a little pixely and sort of a left-right motion for a bit. And then next to it, you do a little more pixely things. And then you keep doing that until it's a QR code, take you right to the website. Or it's not a website, it's like a blog.
Yeah, I think we have to legally call it a domain.
Yes, but the domain has like an about us. So that to me counts as a blog.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things where if someone presses us on it, we can say, well, it's my domain at least. And that
comes up a lot. People are always trying to snipe this domain.
Yeah, well, it's such a good one.
But Dr. London, I'm extremely excited about. I've gotten the rights to 3 of the biggest franchises, the biggest mascots in the world.
Okay,
and we're gonna do an Avengers style like crossover movie type of huge plan thing.
Okay. And it's not the Avengers, or it is the Avengers?
No.
Okay.
It's better than the Avengers. Here's my impression of an Avenger. Oh, I'm Tony Stark. I'm a nerd. I have a little robot suit that I just built. Oh, Dr. Lin, we don't have any nerds in this movie.
Okay.
So, like, first one, the Little Caesars Roman pizza guy. You know, the little guy who goes, pizza.
Oh, believe me,
We've
yes.
got that.
The pizza or the guy?
The guy.
What?
Basically,
okay.
So basically, whoever owned the rights to the guy, because you can, with AI these days, we can just film the guy and then have that drawn out. Maybe even do like 3D CGI stuff. But yeah, whoever owned the rights to the pizza guy died, and I was able to get in his will over the last few weeks.
By copying by hand the drawing?
Well, just by going over to his house and writing my name in his will.
Okay, yeah. Which a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to do that.
It's a piece of paper. Like, it's not magic.
Yeah, or the video wills. Those are a little bit, you have to actually jump in and...
And again, with AI these days and CGI, I feel like that's so easy to do. And Dr. Lennon, we also have the rights. Okay, so that's the first movie in this universe.
Little Caesars Man is a movie.
That is the first movie.
Okay.
Because then after the 3, then there will be a 4th one where they all come together like the Avengers.
Okay.
So like the second one is we're doing a movie about like the wheelchair guy on bathroom signs.
Okay. Yes.
That guy is literally one of the most famous people in the entire world.
Every time I bring up a celebrity and I'm thinking like, who can we get attached to this project? People say like, well, you can't get the wheelchair guy, obviously.
He's literally everywhere. Like people talk about like, oh, Taylor Swift is everywhere. She's on every radio station and commercial. Okay, but this guy is on every bathroom in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'd say every accessible bathroom. Like he's actually not on a lot of them. And I think that's an issue.
He's around.
Like, I not to say, but like I think on the higher tier places, that's where he is.
Okay, you're saying we should have just gotten the normal guy.
Well,
we couldn't get the normal guy.
Yes,
the normal guy is more famous.
Yeah. Or the woman as well. Like, I'd say actually, arguably, the lines are usually longer to see the the woman.
And people are lining up to see her.
Yeah. And
just to get a glimpse.
But yeah, sometimes for the wheelchair guy as well.
We're all rooting for the wheelchair guy, and that's what makes him such a good protagonist in this movie. Maybe a spy thriller. I haven't decided yet. And then the third thing that we got the rights to, Dr. London, is it's the cup and ball toy. It's the, old toy from the 1920s that has a ball hanging on the bottom, and you pop it up and you catch it in a cup.
No, I've seen the Family Guy documentary, yes.
Well, let me just describe it a little more for our listeners. String hanging. It's dangling there. It's like a yo-yo that's not wrapped up. And it's dangling from this like cone thing. It's like a
ice cream cone.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
It's a cup.
Oh.
There's no ice cream in it.
Could you describe it again? Sorry. You really had me at that. So the ice cream's hanging.
It would probably be easier just to explain what I have for my plot outline for the movie, and then you'll understand it. It's about a man who's lost everything. His wheelchair, his pizza, his toga, and his cup and ball toy. He lost it in a fire or something. Oh, and it's all gone. But then he crafts a cup and ball out of like tree bark and like a bear skin. Like he
so he's in the woods.
Skins.
Yeah.
He's in the woods at this point because he's lost everything. He's lost everything.
Except for his woodland property, yeah.
He makes a ball and cup toy. Yeah, out near his guest house that he's been staying in.
Because he's lost everything.
He's lost absolutely everything. And then he comes back and becomes the cup and ball toy champion or whatever. Like influencer.
Just like the Avengers.
A Twitch guy.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the fourth movie is you bring them all together using time travel maybe, or maybe just like alternate universe stuff. Have you seen Rick and Morty?
From a distance, yeah.
Rickon. So it's this guy Rickon, and he has a magical ability to go to places where there's butts farting.
I feel like I've been there.
There are. There could be.
It was magical in a way, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you're very close to like Rickon.
Well, there's a magical fruit that they utilize to achieve that flatulence. So it's beans. Beans are the musical fruit.
Oh yes, I've heard about that.
And the more you eat, yes.
Okay. What?
Well, you'll have to see the movie. Is all I'm saying. Yes.
So I mean, Dr. London,
the writers haven't figured that out yet. Is also the real answer.
They just got off strike. Got off strike. Can we give them a minute?
Please. And yeah, I know you want to rant on this, on give them more time, but like,
just give the writers a few more days, just to chill,
yeah.
Huh? Just hang out,
yeah.
Adjust getting back into the office.
No, I know you want to. Like, I know you've got this all pent up and you have a speech ready, but I think we should move on.
Just Fran Drescher hasn't talked about any of this at all.
Yeah, well,
for the actors or for the writers.
I was going to say, yes.
Give them a break.
Yeah. So, yeah. So these are all important, and yes, we are excited to bring this movie, and this will be released. Well, the schedule's backed up a little bit due to the strikes. I mean, we tried using scabs. To the fans, we really tried.
We really did. Yeah. Most of them ran away with the money we offered them. They kept insisting on being paid up front, and we kept sort of being like, "Oh yeah, I know how that works. That just like Hollywood. Yeah, that's yeah. We do that." And then they run away.
Might still do. So we're not sure exactly like that. That's why the timeline's a little vague right now, because the release date was going to be August 2022, and I feel like that's pushed back a little bit at this point.
Well, COVID.
Yes.
Remember COVID? Yes. That we could, everything gets pushed back.
So
legally, we can't say released,
right? Yeah,
because it's not something we're putting out in the world. It's more like a DVD that you have to come over to our house to watch.
Yeah.
But we will start allowing people over to do that TBD.
Maybe. Like I'm kind of an introvert. I really don't like having a lot of people over. So like that's also an issue. And also our 12 roommates.
Well, yeah, and the 12 roommates. And because if we invite some of our friends, then they're going to invite those same friends. And there's going to be so much conversation of like, well, did you come here for me or for them?
Mm-hmm. And we have to get the seating. Are you on his side of the room or are you on his side? And it's sections and it's invitations and it's a lot of RSVPs. And then the popcorn. Some people don't like popcorn. Some people like salt, sometimes like butter.
Well, they're huffing and puffing, leaving the room, stomping out of there saying, I didn't want popcorn. So you got to have kettle corn for them.
I guess we should clarify here. We are also filming a reality TV show of 14 Guys in a House. I don't know if we mentioned that, but that's ongoing, and we're hoping to have a viewer eventually. It is a live stream on our Twitch channel.
It's on our Twitch channel. It did start out as 15 Guys in a House. There's been lots of questions about that. I don't think this podcast is the place to get into it.
Yeah, well, it's why I only mentioned it because it came up organically. And I realize now I shouldn't have even mentioned it. So, anyway,
But Daniel, if you are out there, we are going to find you and we are going to hunt you. But yeah, Netflix, our version of Netflix, Jock Netflix, it's called, what is it called again? Go Daddy, Don't Daddy? It's
called Go Daddy, Don't, No Wait. Sorry. No, Go Daddy, No Wait, Don't Go.
Oh, there we go.
I did write it down this time. Hey, Cameron, we have a sponsor today.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's Caldera Labs. So, we all know that first impressions matter. And if you're not taking care of your skin, that's going to be the first thing that someone notices. And they're going to think, oh, they're much older than you really are, or just that you don't care about your appearance. So,
and we know as a listener of this show that there are a lot of things in your life you're not taking care of. And you're probably wondering, is skin the first thing I need to take care of?
Yes. And the answer is yes. Because, I get, you're going to be saying, oh, should I take care of my grass? My lawn is overgrown. It is a jungle now. And I haven't paid the bills. I've been kind of hoarding a lot of things, so my house is pretty overgrown. There are animals roaming, but you need to take care of your skin, okay?
You have to. This is first priority.
Yes. So, yes, show them that you do care about your appearance by making a great first impression with Caldera Lab, where compliments are guaranteed. And we are assuming here, which maybe that's wrong of us to assume, that you will have visitors at some point to your home.
The police or an EMT or something along those lines.
Compliments are guaranteed.
Yeah,
yes.
if you are a listener to this show, you're probably not taking care of your general health, your heart, your hair. You should get to all of these things, but let's, instead of just saying there's so many things I need to get to, let's start with one. Let's go with the skin.
And because we have a simple solution, and I get, you've got a bobcat, and it's not yours in terms of you don't have a license or permit for it or whatever, but you have one, and you're thinking, oh, I got to figure this out. I don't know how to deal with a bobcat. What I do know how to deal with is your skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if I had a solution for the bobcat, then maybe that should be the first priority.
Please.
But since you already have the solution right here.
Yeah.
Then
let's just do it. Yeah.
Let's just knock this off the list, and then let's maybe wash your hair, deal with the bobcat. We'll figure all that out one by one.
Yeah. So Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup. It's a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. The Caldera Lab has been a very female-driven world, and it's been the Wild Wild West for men. So this is a chance, and I get, once again, that you feel like you're in the Wild West or some other wild part of the world based on your living situation. But this is a part, once again, that you can control. So the regimen includes 3 products: the Clean Slate, the Base Layer, and the Good. The Clean Slate starts to end your day. It's a face wash that leaves all skin types refreshed. The Base Layer is a daily moisturizer to hydrate your skin and jumpstart your day full of confidence. The Good is a go-to multifunctional serum at night to help your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as reduce the visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. Every drop of this serum is packed with 3.4 million antioxidants to protect your skin.
And if you are a listener, you might be thinking, okay, so how many wrinkles can I get rid of before people just don't recognize me anymore? You've been so defined by these wrinkles in your face. But we're telling you, start now. Let this be the first thing. And so then by the time you're done with the full list, it's been gradual enough where people are like, oh, that's what he looks like.
Yeah. Because if I give an example, if you start later, then if you put this last on the list, let's say, you've fought the bobcat, you've, learned how to eat your lawn so it's nice and trim. You're going to be bloated from that lawn. You're going to have the carcass of a bobcat just draped over your shoulders, and it's going to be hard to walk. And then you're going to say, oh, these wrinkles. I wish I'd invested the time earlier. And that's what we're presenting to you here.
Well, I mean, the amount of things that our listeners, like the amount of sun exposure our listeners are going to have with all of the tasks that they need to accomplish.
Get a roof. Getting a roof is one of the tasks. Sure.
Yeah. And again, if I know how to do that, would love to suggest
Yes, love to.
Let's do the skin thing first, then call a roofer.
The Caldera Lab Icon Eye Serum is another product. It addresses the 3 most common skin concerns around the eye. It's fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Caldera Lab is a leader in men's skincare, made with only top-tier ingredients, and clinical trials have found that 94% of men's skin showed an overall younger-looking appearance after using Caldera Lab for a few weeks. 1 minute morning and night is all it takes to reduce your wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Once again, it's just a minute, and then you can get to the rest, okay?
Yeah, we're not saying you're not allowed to take care of other things. No one is saying that. What we are saying is we have a solution to a problem you absolutely have if you are a listener to this podcast. And we're saying this is something we can take care of right now. We're giving you a website to go to with a code.
Yes, speaking of which, and just for our audience, we have an exclusive offer, the best offer available anywhere. Use code JOCKDOC at calderalab.com and get 20% off right now. 20% off with code JOCKDOC at calderalab.com and make unforgettable first impressions where compliments are guaranteed. It's 20% off at Caldera Lab with code JOCKDOC.
And we actually struck a special deal with Caldera. You are allowed to share this code with anyone you want. Friends, you can post it on Twitter.
Yes, okay. There was a lot of back and forth on this. A lot of negotiations that had to happen. But yes, you are allowed to share it. And you can share it with a bobcat, but like I'd just be careful. Like I don't know if they're going to be on the same page as you whenever you hand them. It just
seems the same page being the URL that you're going to.
Yeah. They may end up on a different one. I don't know what the bobcat has bookmarked. I don't know the life. I don't know how to deal with a bobcat. Once again, it's just skin that we know. And later, we have some basic kind of life advice to address. That and a lot of feedback.
A lot of people listen to this podcast not just for our witty banter or medical tips, but also to learn about life and how to not, be homeless and learn how to, find your, like if you have a dog that's missing or like a kid that's missing.
Yeah. Or like, who can tell? I guess, yeah, the amount of fur on them. But yeah, people can come to us for different reasons. But today we are going to focus a little bit more on the advice thing. And in part, just we've had so much listener feedback piling up that we do want to address it. And like, just because people keep commenting on the comments, and it's getting to be a little bit overwhelming.
It's getting loopy, Dr. Lund.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I'm like, okay, please stop.
Yeah.
Please leave me alone.
Yeah, stop.
But honestly, yeah. I love the attention.
Okay. So our for a long time, the listener demographic was primarily composed of people waiting for their floor in the Jock Doc brand elevator. That's who listened to us. It's just people who got on the elevator that we put into buildings. But in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. So we have all of these things to address. So one of those bots that have been commenting is named Rebecca on a Facebook reel of ours, which we addressed. Let's see. In that reel, we addressed the one-word feedback of boo. And Rebecca writes in response to it, The ghost in my bedroom is telling me that you completely misinterpreted the other ghost's comment, and she finds that reductive and offensive. So first of all, thank you so much for that comment.
Thank you so much for that feedback.
Yeah, that really helps.
I know Dr. London sounds a little nervous right now, and that's because why are you introducing a ghost into this podcast?
Yeah. So like we addressed at the time, I'm going to guess it was a particular spooktacular time of the year. Okay. And that's when we deal with that kind of thing. So to hear you come in and say, not only is there a ghost, but there's a ghost in your bedroom telling you that we misinterpreted another ghost. Like, why are you talking to them?
Yeah. Well, and Dr. London, these days, I've been learning a lot about ghosts lately from the one that lives down the road from me. And with TikTok.
Patrick? Is it Patrick? Sorry. I just want to get.
Yeah. But I think it's like Patrick. He always, I in my head, it's always like all caps.
So he would say boo if he could, kind of. Patrick! Okay.
Yeah. He mostly just like talks about like baseball and like his wife left him.
Okay. Yeah. So down the street, Patrick.
Oh yeah. And he's a ghost. And he was telling me like TikTok and all these things these days. Ghosts can actually get into the machines. Like ghosts can actually ride the internet waves and actually ride and live in the actual tubing that's underneath our houses. And you just did that, listener. That's going to be haunting our podcast until we stop doing the podcast.
So to Rebecca, thank you for listening, but also shame on you for doing that to us. And I hope that answers your question. And we got more feedback. This feedback was on our TikTok video, responding to the comment about us making a video response to the 2 comments we got. First, user def_not_sully said, quote, "This just popped on my FYP. What's the podcast about?" End quotation. Oh, and then they added on that same video, also, I just followed to make the count 69.
Okay. I mean, thanks for the follow.
Yes, thank you.
Again, why are you putting like perversion onto our podcast? Now our podcast is permanently tainted with the number 69.
Unless we get another follower, which I'm just not counting on ever happen.
No, I think it's actually gone down.
Yeah. We've been losing them pretty steadily here, which I think if we do this enough, then surely the pattern, we get enough momentum in one direction.
It's a snowball effect. They start out really big and then they kind of melt as the day goes on. Yeah.
But to address this just popped up on my FYP. What's the podcast about? Good question. So
again, this is why you're trying to put perversion on our podcast.
I don't know what FY.
I don't know. It's for your.
Oh, okay. So like putting it in. Okay.
Yeah.
This just popped up on their thing to put in their thing.
Yeah.
And they want to know what it's about.
It's not about that. And it's not about ghosts. Yeah. It is about, and we already said this once in this episode, it is about hanging out with friends. It is about learning life lessons. It's about learning medicine. It's about cancel culture and the woke mind virus. And it's also about snowboarding and most snow sports.
And learning to live with 12 other guys and being on the hunt to hunt one other guy for sport.
Yes. And we have light recipes and seasonal tips, and also true crime investigations. And we do makeup tutorials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely made up. Anyway, so thank you for that comment, and I hope we answered your question. Another comment on that same video came from user The Claire Necessities, who said, "Absolutely read them to filth," and then 3 fire emojis. End quote. So, I
mean, they're just forcing filth onto our podcast. I don't understand what this obsession. Dr. London, are these trolls? Are these bullies?
I think so, but I at the same time, I do feel like that is kind of the demographic. Like, our sponsors have been telling us, like, we really got to appeal to these trolls and the filthy
like
people.
crust punks.
Yeah, that's the specific term they kept using.
Yeah.
Is crust pumps.
Crust pumps?
Punks. You know what? I don't.
Is that a shoe or is that like a device?
I guess listen for the ad and maybe you'll hear which one it is. It's got to be one of those. Anyway, so I hope that answered your question. We have another one from user Let's Chat Revel, and this is on the same video. You've already won me over. And once again, we don't want. This isn't a gross out podcast. We're not trying to win you over, whatever that means.
Oh, let me just like manipulate you into winning you over. No, that's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to talk to you about is how some of these people have taken, just trying to be nice a little too far, I think, because of this woke mind virus.
Yeah, please. And we think that the best antiviral is to listen to two white men talk for a long time. So, anyway, I hope that answers your question, Chris.
Oh, and the recipes, because we do recipes on this show,
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Just put eggs in like a mug.
Basket. Oh, okay, mug. Yeah. Okay.
No, do not put all your eggs in a basket. Been there, buddy. Bad choice.
All right, our TikTok video, which was a response to Callie Gibson's comments of crying laughing emoji. They said, and it was, y'all definitely shouldn't have a podcast. That had the comment from user at Clear Necessities who said, crying laughing though? That's huge.
Yeah, and so all that to say, again, why are you trying to put like crying and tears onto our podcast? You're trying to curse us with these sad, negative feelings?
Yeah. So
and I know you're laughing, but you're laughing like at us.
And through, like, just with the tears, like, I don't know, like, I guess I understand that the reflexive response to men giving you such incredible antiviral mind work, that can make you cry. But, like, don't tell us that that's what's happening. Tell us that that's not what's not happening.
And honestly, this reminds me of being on the slopes, Dr. London, because snowboarding is such a big part of this podcast. And sometimes on the slopes, you have these people that are called fakers. And they act like they're your friend, but then they actually, like, stir up drama.
Yeah. Ugh. And
they're all over the slopes these days.
Yeah. And so, and let me go and say, I am sorry at the Clear Necessities, but you are just stirring up drama, and maybe it's time to take a step back. Yeah.
Stirring up drama, and you're a fake friend, and I'll see you on the slopes.
Because nothing breaks that particular bond, of course. Like, that's where the drama belongs. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Keep your drama on the slopes.
Yeah, keep it on the mountain. Yeah. That's what I always say.
All right, and finally on that same TikTok, user at the Modern Mystic 222 responded, "My mom gets the same feedback, except instead of podcast, it's your daughter." And then shrug emoji, big smiley emoji. And once again, that is in response to the y'all shouldn't have a podcast video. Easy to track this stuff.
All that to say, I mean, I'm really sorry that it sounds like your mom told you to not do a podcast, when that is something we've established that is every human's right, is to do a podcast, and you should be doing a podcast. And if you are not doing a podcast, it is usually because you have something to hide. You know how, like, when you get pulled over by the cops and you don't show them absolutely everything in your car, and it probably means you're guilty, because why are you trying to be so secret?
First thing I do when I'm pulled over, I force my way out and pop the trunk. I open it and I pull out the long kind of rectangular case that I have in there to show them that it's not a gun. Okay?
I show them it's not a gun. There's not even a body in there. That is just a Halloween decoration.
I pull out everything that I have that could be misconstrued as something bad.
Yeah.
Do I have half a gallon of fake blood in there? Yes. Just in case.
Are there empty beer cans? Yeah. But you only had 2 or 3. Like, it's not like you're plastered.
Yeah. And those obviously aren't in the trunk. Those are scattered around my dashboard and everything. But, which admittedly, like to the officer's credit in that situation, like sure, I could have stood to at least put the cans on the seat next to me or on the floor instead of moving with every turn that I make on the dashboard.
Well, you just move so violently.
Yeah, and just loudly. Like I was on his side by the end of it. Yeah. So anyway, that's the last of our listener feedback for now, I think. So I hope we managed to address all the comments, and so we take all of that to really do the fine tuning to tweak our podcast to be exactly what you're wanting. And
and it's this now. This is you. This is your fault.
Yeah, we didn't want this.
No, but this is what the podcast is now.
So
we barely talk about snowboarding. We, only spend a couple of minutes on cancel culture. We haven't done any recipes besides that badass egg in a mug one I mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And we're skipping the basket part for now.
No, don't put all your eggs in a basket. Don't do that. Huge mistake.
That brings us to what the listeners are here for and what we've managed to keep in despite the feedback. Today's medical topic, Guillain-Barré Syndrome. Guillain-Barré Syndrome, or acute inflammatory polyneuropathy, is a syndrome consisting of autoimmune damage to multiple peripheral nerves. Peripheral nerves are normally covered in myelin sheaths, which help increase the speed of a signal traveling through those nerves. But in Guillain-Barré syndrome, a circulating antibody attacks the myelin nerves of the peripheral nerves, which slows down neural conduction. So,
and is this like you calling it cute? You said like it's like a really cute disease or something?
Is that
one of those things where like even when your kid is like really ugly, you're like, oh, you're the most beautiful kid in the world? It's kind of just, it's a white lie.
I mean, well, it's like, to me, it's actually pretty interesting. This syndrome, like it's really weird. Like it's unusual. It's kind of quirky actually. So
you do think it's a cute?
Yeah, I mean, in its own way. Yeah, I think to rule it out as cute certainly isn't the right call.
You're sick. Is this what my doctor is thinking when they're poking around?
Yeah, they're saying to themselves like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. Wow.
This is pretty acute. Let me see.
So Guillain-Barré syndrome is associated with Campylobacter jejuni infection. Patients will typically present with a weakness in the legs that ascends upward from the feet toward the chest, and they have a loss of deep tendon reflexes. A few patients have mild sensory disturbance as well. The main problem is that in its progression upward, so it's giving you some level of weakness, paralysis, as it progresses upward, when Guillain-Barré syndrome hits the diaphragm, it's associated with respiratory muscle weakness. So the patient can be too weak to inhale a breath, and that obviously isn't good for breathing. Autonomic dysfunction can occur, resulting in low blood pressure, high blood pressure, or increased heart rate, known as tachycardia. Diagnostic testing for Guillain-Barré syndrome may include nerve conduction studies and electromyography as the most specific tests, and these will show a decrease in the propagation of electrical impulses along the nerves. But it takes 1 or 2 weeks of symptoms for patients to show those results, so a lot of it's clinical diagnosis.
So they got to keep coming back to the doctor. Now I see what it is. It's complimenting your date and saying, "Oh, you're so cute. Am I gonna see you again?
Yeah. Am I gonna see your Guillain-Barré you again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cerebral spinal fluid will show increased protein with normal cell count. And you can test the respiratory muscle involvement with pulmonary function tests. I know you're gonna think this is too much for the interaction, but it will show a decrease in force, vital capacity, and peak respiratory pressure. But you do kind of have them, you stick a thing in their mouth, then they breathe into it, and it's it's
and
not
the whole time you're like, this is so acute.
Yeah, since inspiration is the active part of breathing and the patient loses the strength to inhale, these pulmonary function tests can tell you who might die from Guillain-Barré syndrome. Death, although rare, is caused by dysautonomia and respiratory failure. So to summarize,
this is just manipulative at this point. This is saying, if you don't come back, you're talking to your date and you're saying, if you don't come back, if you leave me right now, you're not even going to know if you're going to die or not. And I know.
Here's the thing. This is like a weakness in starting from like the legs. So she's not going to be able to walk away, really, is part of what's going on here.
You don't think maybe she was just inspired by an incredible movie about a man in a wheelchair?
A curative movie. Yeah, okay. I can see how that...
She maybe can summon the strength to roll away.
Yeah. I mean, I guess better that than what I thought it might be at that moment, which is just such severe disinterest in me that she musters the strength to get up and, fight back against these antibodies.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I think, going to be the plot of the movie. The bathroom sign guy movie is they're so, mad at their doctor, who's not a stand-in for anyone. He's just a normal doctor. And then he rolls away really fast.
To summarize, Guillain-Barré Syndrome is a combination of ascending weakness and loss of reflexes. Treatment for Guillain-Barré Syndrome is intravenous immunoglobulin or plasmapheresis. Those are equal in efficacy, but don't combine them. And it's important to note that despite Guillain-Barré Syndrome being an autoimmune issue, prednisone does not help. So, yeah, look forward to seeing that movie on Go Daddy, No Wait, Don't Go. And I guess that brings us to kind of the main point of today's episode, which is some real life advice. Okay? This is, I don't know if you've heard about the used car market being so expensive. Everything's so expensive, but especially finding a used car can be so difficult to navigate.
And it's one of those things like when you don't have your mommy or daddy with you to help you do the purchase, you can get scammed, you can get conned, you can get taken for a ride. And I'm not talking about driving around the parking lot. You know what I mean? I'm talking about being taken advantage of by the dealership.
Okay. So first thing you'll want to do, you will want to bring your mommy and daddy with you to the car dealership, and you will tug at mommy's skirt, and she'll say, hush, hush, hush.
Yeah. And I know I said that these tips are for when you don't have mommy and daddy with you, but the first tip is ideally you should probably have at least one of them with you.
Yeah. And this is what you're going to have. But, you tug at the skirt. But one of the points is also that your mommy and daddy will leave you. They're going to abandon you.
They're getting a car that's going to go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, crazy.
Why do you think they're going to get that if it's not to leave you? Yeah.
So, I guess emotionally brace yourself for that, because that's part of getting a used car. That's part of the process. But then you will buy your car, and this is when you have to. Before you buy the car, you do have to decide what you want to use it for, because either you want to buy a fast car, which is to leave your children behind, or you want to buy a big car to attach crates and whatever to it so you can make money driving across the country.
I would say there's other categories in there that I'm personally a fan of. There's slow jalopy that maybe like hobos might run on and jump in the back, and then maybe there's chickens back there and they duck down.
Okay.
That's a car.
Right. And if you're wanting to become a carrier service for hobos, which I assume is the politically correct term for them still.
It has to be.
It's got to be. Right? Yeah. Someone with a kerchief tied up around a stick.
Oh, yeah. A rail rider.
Let's see. So, yeah, there's the chicken cooped truck style of car.
Well, Dr. London, we're talking all this smack about these car dealerships, and we're saying they're trying to take advantage of you or whatever. So what do you do as the customer to ensure that you can trust the car dealership you're working with? And it's the answer I would say is try to seduce the married CEO of the office, the boss guy.
Yeah, you're going to want to climb up the chain, because obviously the CEO won't necessarily be at that specific dealership.
Yeah, not the CEO,
so you're gonna have to make some calls.
But the daddy of the office. You know how in every office has it's the daddy who's the CEO
the office
of the
daddy.
office?
Yes, the office daddy. So, yeah, you're going to want to seduce the office daddy.
you're going to want to try to seduce him. And then unfortunately, if you can do that successfully, that is not a trustworthy person. And so it's, let them down gently, like keep it going, keep the affair going for a couple months because you don't want to hurt them.
I mean, part of you does want to hurt them. And that's kind of what's difficult about it.
Right. Because they put you in such a weird position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
By you deciding to seduce them to get your car.
To seduce them. And now you're not even going to buy a car from them. You're going to go somewhere else and try to seduce them. And only when you find someone brave enough to say, no, not right now, maybe later.
They might say like, no, I'm married. And that's like, for me, that means quite a bit. And then you're like, well, I'm trying to just buy a car.
For like right now.
For right now?
For like like today? Like it's lunch
Can't
right
fit that
now? I can't do it. Way too committed. That's a person that you're like, you can be like, I'm going to buy a car from them.
So.
Which is what we did, and that's how we have the cars we have today, Dr. London.
Yes. So, as I said, now I did go for I'm trying to make a few bucks on the side here. So I did buy a big rig. And so here's the thing. Brand matters, okay? You're going to buy a car, you're like, oh, is it a Honda? Is it a Toyota? It's Toyota-thon currently. So like you're thinking of this, like, am I gonna match the holiday?
It's Toyota-thon again?
Yeah, no, I know.
My wife is gonna kill me. Oh my gosh. Today?
Look, can I tell you, Cameron? She called me yesterday, and she said,
"What did you say? You told her I had something."
He asked me, "Did he remember?" And I told her he wrote down in his journal about this last year, and he said, my journal's so good, my writing here is so good, I'm gonna come back and check my writing to see the Toyota thought. I won't be able to help myself, but come back and check this." So, yeah, like you felt like your writing about Toyotathon last year was so compelling that you would revisit that around this time this year. So, I that's what I told her.
And that helped, I guess.
She kind of had the same response as you're having now, which is to say, so wait, does that mean he knew about it? And then she hung up on me because, like, obviously I wasn't super clued in.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Thank you. That's not really the vibe I'm getting from you nor from her, but yeah.
It's a tough Toyotathon this year, let me tell you.
Yeah.
With COVID a couple years ago and the strikes.
Yeah, I almost remember. So we got our cars. I got a big rig because I'm wanting to make a few bucks, and I tried to take it out, like get my first shipment, get a cargo thing loaded up. I didn't learn all the terminology. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get some work done, and I'm on my way to get it done, and the car starts talking to me. Okay, and this is a used car. This happens. So, sorry, I was mentioning the brands. The brand I got was Optimus Prime, was the name of it. And I thought that was like, oh, maybe some foreign thing. Is that good or is that bad? I don't know. I can tell you now, go for a brand name you trust.
Yeah, do your research. Don't just pick the fancy looking thing that speaks to you in the lot.
Yeah, and speak to you, meaning like physically, actually, vocally, audibly speaking to you is what this one did. This one's Optimus Prime, which he tells me that's not his brand, that's actually his name. But I'm like, well, that sounds like it's kind of your brand too.
Well, and what's funny is I ended up with, a completely opposite car as you, Dr. Lynn. Like I didn't get this big old thing. I got a really, really tiny car. Do you remember those smart cars? Yeah,
the really very small ones. Yeah.
Very tiny. And this is maybe like 3/4 the size of that. Like if that's scaled down to like 75% of the size.
Oh, of the smart car size.
25% less than the smart cars. So it's 75% of the size of a smart car. And it's, again, not brand name. What it has said his name is Zolofticon.
Zolofticon, okay.
And it's, God, he's so depressed. He is so unbelievably depressed. And I can't tell if it's a branding thing. Like, I can't tell, is this Is this an ad or something?
Yeah, does he advertise? Like,
No, I mean, like he advertises his depression and like how bummed he is. So I feel like that's a terrible advertisement for Zoloft, you know?
yeah. Okay, like, does he ever mention Zoloft specifically?
Well, that's the thing. Because his name is Zolofticon, he'll be like, you can call me Zoloft. And so that seems like a very intentional branding thing.
Okay, yeah, I guess. So he wants you to call him by the drug brand name. Yeah, that's okay. So yeah.
Now, I have been learning a little bit more about him, right? And this one, I don't know if yours does. Mine, like, it transforms?
Okay, I wasn't gonna even say it, but yeah, same with mine.
Oh, you weren't gonna say it because that doesn't happen to you? Oh,
no, well, because
you weren't gonna say it even though it did happen to you, so it was gonna be a secret unless I said it.
I didn't want to be transphobic. Is really what it came down to.
Oh, okay.
And because it's especially because like at least Optimus Prime, my car seems to like do it a lot, go back and forth a lot, and I don't know if it's what do I do about pronouns and stuff.
Oh,
and
that does get really confusing.
Yeah, so Optimus Prime, he started telling me, I've got to deal with these Decepticons. That he says he's an Autobot. I got to deal with these Decepticons, and I'm trying to go and do this delivery. I'm trying to pick up some cargo, and he's like, so we got to go. They're at the Hoover Dam or something, and they're trying to blow it up, and they got a special robot, and I'm like, I have this. I have to get to work.
Your guy turns into like a robot.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He turns into a big robot, and he's like smashing stuff. He's like very noticeable, like multiple stories high. What does yours turn into?
A puddle. I mean, as much as a car can be a puddle, and he only happens when I'm in the car, and that sucks. That sucks so bad. That hurts like hell.
Is it because you're driving, you're getting up to speed, and then suddenly
everything's
your
just
car's
flattened,
wet,
wet.
Yeah, okay, so it is wet and flat, and you're just rolling on the highway.
I mean, at a certain point, it's not rolling anymore; it's just a puddle.
No, I meant you. Are you rolling because the car's dissipated around you?
It hasn't dissipated. It's
crunched you.
It's so hard to explain. The car is like the car version of a puddle. And I'm squeezed and crushed into that puddle, and it sucks.
Yeah, that sounds way worse.
You said your guy's trying to fight what?
Yeah, there's some.
Mine sounds like that. It's what was it called?
Decepticons. Yeah.
Oh no, my guy's is just he's fighting depression.
Close though. Yeah, I can see. Well, now I'm wondering if should I. No, he was pretty emphatic, and he wrote it down for me like Decepticons, and I'm like, depression? No, he's not. I do feel like we both made different purchases, and I'm starting to feel honestly a little bit better about mine, because like,
yeah, I hate my car so much, and honestly, now that I think about it, it looks exactly like the little Zoloft rock thing from the commercials that bounces around.
Is that why you bought it?
Do I even own a car, or do I just own? Is this another brand for our show, for our Netflix shows to like maybe throw in the Zoloft rock? Did I just purchase the Zoloft rock and I'm like just riding him around?
I think if anything, you bought the actor portraying that. Which
okay, but why am I getting crushed so bad when it transforms? That sucks.
I know. Well, I'll say like Optimus Prime for all his faults. I think it's a him. Once again, I don't. It's such a touchy thing. I get out of the car first. I get out of the truck.
That's
and
good.
I'm like, yeah. But he'll tell me.
Is he polite
like,
about it? He's like, hey, can you just pop out for a second?
He's pretty emphatic. He keeps insisting like, and he tries to recruit me too. That's the thing. He says like, we gotta fight this war. Like you're gonna help me. I need a human to do this. And I'm like. I don't know. I have a lot of conflicting emotions about it because I'm like, okay, for one thing, I don't want to do anything militaristic. Like, I'm not here to fight a war, especially I don't know why one robot would be mad at another robot.
Well, I mean, two robots can't occupy the same space, which is difficult for the robot brain because they're so used to being data and free flowing. And so they're really just trying to push the other robot out of the way. They're like, that robot's standing there. I want to be standing there.
Okay. It sounds like babies fighting over a toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that toy is like, like nuclear bombs in the Middle East or something. And Mark Wahlberg's there.
Yeah. Well, naturally.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so when you're buying your used car, you're going to want to bear these things in mind that your car will be sentient if you go for the off-brand kind of models. I'll say, yeah, another frustrating thing is that that when you look at the speed the car's traveling at, it is shown in kilometers per hour. So that's hard for me. Yeah. And then the gas tank is on the opposite side of what I'm used to. So it's on the right-hand side instead of the left. Yeah. Trying to think of other issues that came up that I would have looked out for beforehand.
Oh, and when you get your new used car, use diesel, the green one, instead of just normal gas. It'll make your car go faster.
Anyway, I feel like we've just about covered every tip. Is there anything else?
Yeah, now you have now you have your used car. Hopefully you've learned from our mistakes and from our joys, the things we've learned.
Yeah. So
because these robots are our best friend. Mm-hmm. Well, in my case, it's he's more like my roommate now.
Yeah,
and he's not I wouldn't call him a robot in any way.
Yeah. I hope he gets help. I hope Zoloft gets help.
Again, I think it's just a branding thing. Like, I think it seems really put on.
Okay. Yeah, maybe so. It's one of these things where, like, I don't even know if I can ethically return Optimus Prime now. Or, like, try to...
Yeah. Because... You've adopted him, essentially.
Yeah, but, like, except that he's very authoritative and, like, will not listen to me.
Well, yeah, he's a giant robot.
Yeah, and he, like, apparently commands other robots, too. So, like...
Okay, so he's kind of the CEO boss guy of his office.
Yes, I believe so. Once again, like, understanding robot car politics, not what I wanted to get groceries. I wanted to run errands and drive big...
In your big rig truck.
That's right. Anyway, that's so thank you to our producer Karen. Thank you to Digital in the House.